Hey guys, welcome in to the Sportscast brought to you by the Outspoken Network. It's your hosts Brian and Jeff. Jeff, it's been way too long, my friend. How you been?
I've been good. It's been really long time. So excited to get this going.
And super excited. We are on a different platform. Um, different things are changing, so it's been fantastic. And as you can see, a new intro video, all thanks to you, Jeff. And the intro video is awesome and fantastic. So thanks for your hard work, buddy.
Yeah, it
I
was fun to
appreciate it.
do. Yeah, I have one more to do for the other show, but yeah, I'm close.
Rocking and a rolling. Craig is out with his friend tonight. He won't be here. We're officially starting the sportscast again. Um, we'll have episode every Saturday going forward where we take care of the the weekly sports news. We'll jump into some NFL topics as training camp starts this next week, Jeff.
Yeah, yeah, it's coming up fast.
Super fast. Um, we got a couple things to get into today. We've got to talk about the NCAA football game. It came out Friday, and man, what a relief it is to have a football game that I can play that's worth buying. This game is fantastic, Jeff. It has that fast pace of a college football game. It's got the crazy crowd. It's got the traditions of these teams. And so far, ever since Friday, I've been playing it. When we get off the podcast, I'm going to go play it tonight. I love it, Jeff. What are your feelings about that football game?
I'm surprised. I remember seeing bits and pieces of it before we were all able to get our hands on it. And it looked like it was playing well. The player movement was so good. It was fluid. It looked less scripted as previous Madden games. So, everybody knows the infamous, like, you can't really throw in tight windows. It was always just, you'd have weird things where people would kind of like skip catch. So they'd like slide and catch. They wouldn't really like run into a catch or catch in transition. Um, just strange things like that. I didn't see that with this. It was just a different feel, a different. You could tell they put a lot of time and effort into this game. Maybe that's something to think about going down the road. Maybe there may be a three year gap between Maddens or something like that, where it's just content updates and stuff. But this shows that formula works.
Yeah, and it's been fantastic. Like I love the fact that you have a regular spin and a more aggressive spin. You have a juke move, a more aggressive juke. You're able to make those cool looking plays on the field. Um, all the modes, the dynasty modes. You're a coach. You got to go recruit people. You got to actually do this. You have the transfer portal. You have all these things that go into it, and I love it. You can create your own team. You can create your own player. Um, I love the game. I think it's the worry was obviously that the game was going to play like Madden. It's just going to be another Madden repeat, and I've had plenty of people to say that. But looking at the graphics, or they look like it looks like the real game. It looks like I'm watching
Oh yeah,
a
yeah,
game
it
on
definitely
Saturday.
does.
The gameplay is fantastic.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
what I
hang on.
love about it too is I love that there's a button on there where you can actually push that says it evens teams. So if you're Ohio State and you're playing the North Dakota, Leopards or whatever, you can actually make the teams play evenly. It's not just you're going to blow them out. And you're going to have those games. College football, that's what it is, right? You're going to have a lot of games that you blow out the opponent because they are a small name school. You're going to have that. But I really like that basketball or that football game. Um, it's fantastic. Sorry, Jeff, got a little busy there for a minute. Yeah, but I'm jumping on after this. There's a mode on there too, and it's pretty interesting. It is um, take your team to the college football playoffs, and I was okay. I thought that was a dynasty mode, right? So I go to play it, and it has 12 little boxes, and I'm like, okay, what are these 12 little boxes? Well, you play 12 games, but all your opponents are online. So it's really interesting to me. I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. You're getting a 12 game season, not against the computer. you're getting a 12-game season against actual people online. But as I was telling you earlier, Jeff, that um, that was an issue because the guy quit on me, and it didn't count for a game. So that's going to be hard to do a season there if you're going to have people quitting and getting angry or whatnot. And I'm not saying that I was beating the brakes off him where he quit. It was like 10-7, and he quit the game. But that's interesting mode. I like that idea of that you're playing on someone online
Yeah.
instead of just a computer. I think it'd be cool if you did that, like where they set it up where I start a season with Ohio State, my schedule comes out.
Hang on 1 second. It's hailing. Let me go put my car in the garage.
Oh no, good luck with that. I think it would be cool though if you started a season with Ohio State or Alabama, someone highly ranked, and you're playing your season, but every opponent is, and that's the idea of it, is online. Um, they're playing as random teams to try and knock you off, but it just bugged me that since that guy quit, it didn't count as a football game. I was like, okay, I'm going to win, and or it's going to count as a win, and it basically brought me back to square one. So that was not cool at all. Um, highly recommend the football game. Go get it. Go buy it. I just bought the regular edition. I did not go out and pay extra money to have it early or bundle with Madden because Madden to me is still going to be not very good. I haven't played a Madden game in so long, and that was the worry that there was going to be another Madden game, and it's not. Go play it. Go get it. Go buy it. And for all you kids that grew up, all you people that grew up in my era, college football back in the day was amazing, and we would line up and play with our friends. And one thing I am missing though, one thing I am missing is the tug of war. They used to have this mini game called the tug of war, where you both start at the 50. You got an offense versus their defense. Say I throw it 10 yards, well you start 10 yards backwards the next play, and you're on offense, and you go and it's tug of war. The first one to score wins. That game's really really fun. That was on the older games. All right, enough about the college football game. Um, I've been waiting to talk about this, and I have, I have not talked about it, and I should have. I should have came on here, made a clip, put it on TikTok. We got to talk about Caitlin Clark and the Caitlin Clark effect. I'm going to tell you something right now. The Caitlin Clark effect has already affected this podcast because we're talking about WNBA basketball for the first time, I think, ever. That's the kind of pull that she has. I watch more college women's basketball because of Caitlin Clark. Because she brings something to the game that we don't see from other women. She's shooting the basketball with very much high accuracy, like Steph Curry pulls up 3 points. I called her Stephanie Curry in college because she's throwing up these threes and banking them. She's shooting NBA 3-point shots and all this stuff. The numbers don't lie, and I wish Craig was on here because he's going to argue with me about this. But I got something to show you here, and the numbers don't lie. The fan attendance itself does not lie against Caitlin Clark games and non Caitlin Clark games. And I'm gonna share something here for you. Um, I'm gonna share this here, Craig. Okay, this
I'm
is
back.
the Caitlin Clark effect. I just jumped into the Caitlin Clark effect. And it says here, there is one player in WNBA history who has recorded the following stats in a single season. No one else has done it. 381 points, 175 assists, 136 rebounds, 65 3 points made. Okay. 35 steals, 20 blocks. And it says here, she still has 17 games to go in the regular season. The numbers don't lie. She's a good basketball player, and I don't think anybody's ever really argued that, right? Um, but I have a problem with this, Jeff. the WNBA is a league that is not well known. It's not as popular as the NBA. It's not as popular as the NFL, MLB, and all that. It's actually been saved multiple years in a row by the NBA. Without the NBA paying them, they would be bankrupt, right?
Yeah.
Because you in sports, if you don't have the viewers, the money's not there. That's just how it works. There's
Yeah.
not this equal pay and all that crap. No, if you can't bring eyeballs to the table to watch your product, you're not making money. And what it seems to me, and I don't know if you've been keeping up with this, Jeff, or whatnot, but they finally got a girl here, okay, a lady, um, who has the potential to bring more eyeballs on this sport than has ever been before. And instead of cheering it on and jumping on with her, the bandwagon, and really just trying to grow the WNBA, we've seen the opposite. We've seen them tear her down. We've seen them physically abuse her on the basketball court. And that happens. Some of it happens, but not as blatantly as this stuff. Clearly, just taking shots, hitting her in the head.
Yeah.
Um, Angela Reese, decent basketball player. Okay, she's good too. I'm not gonna say she's not good. They're both rookies. They're both going to the All Star game, right? All she seems like is a jealous brat. Every word of her, every comment out of her mouth has been bad mouthing Caitlin Clark. It's not just her, it's me. I'm the reason this. And people are like, they want to bring the whole race thing into it, which I don't care about that. Um, I just don't understand the negativity that this sport was bringing to her because they should want to lift her up and use this as a catalyst to help their team, help their sport grow. They missed a big opportunity when they didn't pick her for the Olympics.
Yeah.
And they came out and they said, "Oh well, as a committee, it's our job to put the best team." No, the WNBA is a business. Every sport's a business, and you make business decisions sometimes. She has better numbers than some people that are on that team going to the Olympics, so there's really no argument not to put her on there. But they're saying they lost out on hundreds of millions of dollars, Jeff, of people coming around the world to watch her play in the Olympics. That is stupid.
None of it makes sense to me. It just seems so odd. Maybe because there could be disruption on the team. I guess even though it's not really warranted. It's not like this person has problems with people where she creates a lot of issues or anything like that. I just it brings me back to maybe like how the NBA used to be. I don't think they're like this anymore, but I think in the past the NBA was like this, where you had like Michael Jordan came in, he didn't get any respect. People threw him around. They beat up on him, they bullied him. They didn't make it easy for Michael Jordan. He was always, and if anybody's ever watched The Last Dance, I'm sure most people have at this point. You could see those early days of his career were not fun. Um,
Yeah,
where he
not
was
fun at all.
just, yeah, it was just not. He was bullied big time, thrown around. It was just the league was definitely not, especially players. Um, they didn't like that. They didn't like this dude getting all this limelight or, you know, getting a lot of buzz or anything like that. So Caitlin Clark kind of reminds me of that. I'm not saying she's MJ. I'm just saying that she's has that quality media wise. She is this star that is drawing more eyes to the WNBA that didn't most people didn't pay attention to in the past. Michael Jordan did that. He drew people to watch basketball.
Yeah.
Um, so when you have that ability, I think a lot of people get frustrated maybe because they don't possess that or
Mm-hmm.
they don't want just one person representing an entire
It's jealousy.
league, right? So,
And I get all that. Like that makes sense.
yeah.
And like I'm not saying by any means they should make it easy on her.
No, no, no,
Um,
yeah.
but
It's definitely getting to a point where it's like I don't necessarily agree with what's going on. You saw lightning.
I did. That's crazy.
um, and so I don't necessarily agree with what's going on, but um, it's getting to a point where the league is allowing it to happen, or the league is kind of like they want her to be the face of the league, but then they don't. So it's this weird thing where it's like she's not allowed to be a part of the Olympic team.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Well,
kind of weird,
and they should want
but she's part of the all-star team.
yeah, regardless of, and that's what the league has to make a business decision.
Right.
I don't think the players want her to be the face, but she is going to be,
The f- the f-
regardless.
the
Eventually,
fans did it. It wasn't
hmm
like, you know, the WNBA was like coined her that. Like the
yeah,
fans and people gravitated to watch. I think they said that that championship game that she was in um was the most watched game in college women's basketball sports history.
hmm
You know, like
and it's not a coinky dink, Jeff. That the first year she joins the WNBA, they have charter flights now. That's because of her. That's not because of anybody else.
right.
And I right before you jump back on, I said Caitlin Clark is getting me to do something I've never done before, which is talk about the WNBA on the podcast. And I've watched more Caitlin or more women's college basketball because of Caitlin Clark than I ever have before.
Right.
And she has that ability. And just because she's bringing something to the game that not a lot of women can do, or we would not be fascinated by it, but we
Yeah.
are. And she's dropping threes like I call her Stephanie Curry. She's dropping threes at NBA range at a high rate. She has a great passing ability. She's a really good basketball player. She seems
Right.
humble. Um,
Is she a 3 and D player, or is she more of
she's more of everything.
okay.
She's like a point guard. She has good handle. She's breaking ankles left and right. She shoots the ball obviously really well. She plays decent defense. Her biggest asset is a 3 point shot, um, and her passing ability is really really good. And actually, she has the most turnovers by a rookie ever in the WNBA. But if you go watch these highlights, it's because their teammates aren't catching the basketball. She's making these nice passes, and these the teammates aren't expecting them, and it bounces off their chest or their hands and goes out of bounds.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, it's turnover on her, but it's
Yeah.
it's it's happened quite a bit. But and she's on a really bad basketball team. She got drafted by one of the worst teams in the league. I just
Yeah.
don't get the animosity. I don't get the I jealousy I could get a little bit, but you got to put all that aside. The WNBA as a whole needs to come together and help build this product to where they're getting to that point where they can be profitable. And if you look at the numbers statistically over a weekend of basketball games, non Caitlin Clark attendance at basketball games, okay? 6,000, 7,000, 9,000 here, 10,000 was the highest you saw. The two games Caitlin Clark played in, Jeff, 17,000 people in attendance at both games. That's how much a difference is making. And instead of dropping your jealousy and your pettiness and putting it aside to get more people to want to watch, people are just tuning in to watch Caitlin Clark and then tuning off when she's not playing. Instead of I'm tuning in to watch Caitlin Clark. All right, oh maybe WNBA basketball is good. Let me start watching around. They turn it to the point where I'm watching Caitlin Clark, and if she's not playing, I'm not watching, and that is not good for them. And it just boggles my mind that they cannot put that aside to make a smart business decision for their sport.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think they got a lot of backlash for it, and I think it won't happen again. I think this will be the
Yeah.
last time that she ends up getting passed over
hmm
to go
Oh,
to the
definitely.
Olympics and play. But needless to say, I think overall, it's gonna, more eyes is gonna bring more money to the NBA, and I think, to be honest, get used to it. I think this is one of many um, pivotal players that are gonna bring more eyes to the WNBA. I think she's gonna be she's the start of something. And I think it's gonna be fascinating to watch. It's very
Mhm.
possible that WNBA starts to grow fan base and the stars. I mean, I just remember even the draft people were buzzing about not just her, but the
Mhm.
girl that went to play for the Sparks. I forgot her name. She got injured, um, but she was also really good. I think the girl who actually there was a girl who was part of the championship team that
Angela
won the whole
Reese.
thing.
Mhm.
It's
She's she's a
you know,
big one.
yeah, she's a big one. To me, they're people I'd never heard of before. I'm like,
Mhm.
who are these people? And there's people all buzzing about it. So I think this is the start of something that's just gonna continue to grow.
Yeah, and I and it's gonna grow. I think it is eventually, and Galen Clark is going to be the catalyst of it, and
Yes.
um, there's no argument there.
Yeah.
Um, and I have four girls, Jeff. I hope that inspires one of my girls to play basketball one day. And so, but um, yeah, it's just very odd and strange. But
Yeah.
they've got to get it together over there. They've got to get it together. All right, Jeff, our last segment, we're going to talk about the Major League Baseballs. We just had the All Star game here in Texas. I wish I could have gone to some of the activities or the home run derby or anything like that. I didn't get a chance to do that. Um, I got a couple questions here. Um, one question's about my own baseball team, Jeff. And that question is, should the Rangers be buyers or sellers? And that's the questions we've been trying to answer. And they're like all over the radio station. If we come off and we don't get killed by Baltimore and we beat the series against Chicago White Sox, which is one of the worst baseball teams in major leagues, and if we can just do that, it will show. I'm sorry, guys. It's time to throw in the towel for the Texas Rangers. It's time to be sellers. Um, and I tell you why, Jeff. And we've had catastrophic injuries this season. We've lost our whole starting rotation. Josh Young is still out. You think he played 3 games this year. Evan Carter, who was a beast last season, has a back injury. I don't know if he'll ever play baseball again. Corey Seager's been out. We've had injuries after injuries, and I'm not trying to make an excuse, Jeff. But what I've seen and what I've noticed, and if you're a real Ranger fan, what you noticed this all season is we've been in slumps. And you're going to go through slumps in baseball, right,
Hmm.
Jeff? I mean, there's
Yep. Yep.
180 billion games.
Yep. The
We've been
Dodgers have
as
done it.
Yeah, we've been in a slump since day one. This team that hit the ball so well last year, where pitching was kind of the issue, but we're going to put up 6 runs a game, has disappeared. They're not there. There's the games this season where we our pitcher gave up 1 run and we lost. We gave up 2 runs, we lose. That is like crazy. Even when our pitching staff was so injured, we could not score runs. And it's been everybody. It's been Corey Seager. It's been Lowe. It's been Simeon. It's been um, Adolis Garcia has been absolute trash this season. And I just don't think it's just going to switch out of nowhere. And then they're thinking, oh, we're going to get healthy. We're going to get healthy. But, but healthiness, other than Josh Young, isn't going to score you runs. Something's missing with the bats this season. I don't know what it is, but it's time to be sellers. And I really wish, Jeff, and this is the time of year that smart GMs make smart decisions.
Hmm.
You gotta decide buyers, sellers, what pieces can we get rid of, but not totally diminish our team from being contenders later down the season, later down the road next season, right?
Hmm.
Um, maybe it's the World Series. What do they say? It's just the year after you win the World Series. It's just in a day still
Yeah.
doesn't seem real. a slump. I don't know, but I honestly think it's time. And I think we're only 6 games out of first, which 6 games is quite a bit. But I just don't see it turning around here this season. I think it's more of a seller selection here for the Rangers, which is tough to say. We came off a World Series win last season, but I'm ready to sell. You probably probably Kirby Yates. Um, we have another reliever that they've been talking about selling, and I really wish Adolis Garcia was on fire right now because I think he'd be a big piece we'd move on from. We're not going to offer him a big contract. He's 31 years old. We're not going to give him the money he wants. He went into arbitration in this offseason um, because they didn't think we gave him enough money. We worked out a deal, but um, he's one that I wish he had value because we could trade him for some pieces. I just think the Rangers should buy or should sell, sorry, and not buy because I don't think it's going to matter at the end of the day.
Uh, weren't y'all wild card team last year?
Yeah, we're basically wild card. We lost our division in the very last game because we played Houston for our division and we lost that game and we lost the division by 1 run.
Okay. 6 games out of first. I don't know how many games out of wild card contention you are if the season ended today. I don't know what that stat looks like. It is always something to take a look at because just because you're out of division doesn't necessarily mean you're out of the
Yeah.
playoffs.
How many
Um,
how many teams make the playoffs? 7.
yeah, you have a
We are
play.
2 games out of the wild card right
Okay,
now, where we stand.
not too bad.
Not
Um,
terrible.
so I don't know what baseball's a weird sport.
It is.
So whenever you're
Oh,
on this
definitely.
teetering thing of like we're good, but we're kind of not playing well, or we're not playing well at all, or we can't consistently win series in a row, kind of thing. Um, I think you have to go back and you have to look at some of those games, and if those games are you lost in a weird way, or maybe it's if it's fundamentally some fundamental problems that are actually like worrisome, like position wise, offensively, not timing is completely off, bullpen's not pitching well, like no one's playing next man up kind of thing. Um, and you don't know what the timetable is on some of these returns. It's a gamble. I mean, I'd say you could easily just say like let's just see where the chips lie and you know just kind of go with that. Baseball is a weird sport. I don't necessarily the trade deadline comes at a weird time because either your team is in a good position or they're not. And when they're on a
Right.
teeter like that, you don't know what to do. You don't
Yeah.
know what you want your team to do. I oddly enough, it's happening with the Yankees right now. So we are we beat the Rays the other day, and today we lost 9-2 or 9 to whatever. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's pretty much kind of how the last month or so has been going for them. You win these games and then you lose. We lost a game where there was an error, you know, um, and that was it. The next play was a home run. They walked it off. It
Yeah.
was against Baltimore.
I heard
So
about that. I didn't see
yeah,
the
yeah,
error.
yeah. So just, weird stuff like that where it's just like odd things. Volpe committed the error, which is surprising to me. He's a gold glover. So it's like, just little things like that kind of bother me, but I look at it like, okay, you're going to have stuff like that. You're going to have weird losses like that where you're just like, but if you can see where the team could fix something and you know where those holes are and they're not so dire, then you're a seller, you're a buyer, not a seller. But I think with the Rangers, my main thing is these are injuries. So a lot of these are like timetable things, you
Yeah,
know.
and they, even if we don't sell, we're not buying either. our message hasn't been we're going to go out and buy some pieces. It's we're going to get healthy and these guys are going to strike us back in, and maybe they will. Maybe Josh Young comes back because last year when we went on a run, Josh Young got hurt. Our offense dipped when he came in. We took back off again, and maybe that happens. And I'm not saying it's out of the realm that we get back into it or make a wild card. It's just with how bad we've struggled hitting the ball this season as a whole team, and
Hmm.
it's been all year long, that I just don't see it making enough consistency to pull it out.
Yeah.
The Astros probably win our division. The Mariners have kind of let that slip. And I was my next question was about the Yankees. Is that they've dropped off going into the All Star game. I
Hmm.
know they've kind of fell down. They were winning a lot. They looked like the best team in baseball, and they went on a slump. But you're going to do that, right? You're going to. We
Right.
talked about that. You're going to have those slumps, and it's about how you battle back and how you get out of those slumps um, in
I
this
mean,
long season.
I see exactly what's wrong with that team. Like it's pretty obvious. You take a look at some of these some of these like YouTubers I watch, they kind of break that game down as it's going on, and you hear what they're saying. You kind of go and look as well. Runners in scoring position has been it's been a problem. And the weird part is it became a problem when some guys came back from injury. That's my issue.
Yeah,
Um DJ LeMahieu comes back from injury. He hits into doubles constantly. Just you can just guarantee it. Like he comes up, and you're just like, yeah, he's gonna hit right into a double play. And he does. And you're just going, why is this person in the lineup?
yeah. You're
Why
expecting.
is he in the lineup? Just horrible. Anthony Rizzo, before he got injured, playing first base, horrible. He's another one. Popped up, strikeout, just and I'm like, this guy doesn't deserve to be on this starting rotation at all. And you take a look at the game yesterday, and LeMahieu's batting ninth, and I'm like, yeah, that's he should be batting at all, but ninth is about right. That's where he should be, and that's where the issues are. Runners in scoring position. I think Giancarlo Stanton has been injured because I haven't seen him in the lineup lately. So maybe he get an injury and they kind of are, babying that. He is a DH though. I will give him some. It's fine. We've had some guys stepping up. Um, Ben Rice came out of nowhere. And I was like, who is this guy? He's amazing. But the problem is Ben Rice gets on base and LeMahieu's behind him and doesn't do
Can't do
anything.
anything. Yeah.
So you're and then Glaber Torres, another one. He they benched him 2 weeks ago because he hit into a double play and basically walked to first. And I'm like, what are you doing? So these are the little things where you sit there and you go, we have Juan Soto, who is amazing.
Who's been a great pickup. Yeah.
We have
Fantastic.
Aaron Judge, who's hitting, he's basically on pace to hit 60 plus home runs again.
He's doing
I
better than he
mean,
did when he won the MVP.
yeah. I mean, he's at 34, 35 home runs already. We're midway through. Um, so it's like we have these pieces. Volpe is gonna fix himself. I think a lot of people are giving Volpe a lot of crap, and it's like he has, he's been struggling or whatever lately. But it's like, dude, so did Jeter, right? Like, come on. He almost got actually at one point Jeter almost got sent back to AAA because he was having a bad season his first year. So like, just cut him some slack. He was all-star caliber when the season started, the first 2 or 3 months, and then of course people have to like freak out when he starts screwing up. So if I take a look at what's wrong with the team, closer is a problem. Clay Holmes is a problem. Every time he goes on the mound, you basically expect him to get in trouble and have to dance out of it because that's what he does. A guy gets on base. Oh no, okay, and then another guy gets on base, and then now we're in trouble, possibly giving up a game, and then he gets the outs. And I'm like, what? You couldn't do that before? Like it's just he's always like that, and I've
Likes to make you
always
sweat.
said that, and people are kind of like, nah, 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 he's good. No, no, he's not. He's not. He was like that last year, and it bothered me.
I'll tell you what.
So
if you're looking for a closer, Kirby Yates from the Rangers has come out of nowhere this year. He's his ERA is under it's a it's under a one. He's been absolutely lights out, and they're talking about trading him. I'm like, keep him. We need a closer next season. Um,
I mean, it's just I look at it. I know what the problem is. They're talking about possibly getting a bat. Cashman's always the kind of person who, when he gets somebody, he wants to have some kind of control over them for a few years, not just like have them for a year. The Juan Soto thing's a different deal. Um, you don't pass up on a player like that. He's too good. So like,
honestly, Jeff, when y'all got Juan Soto and Juan Soto has always been a good player,
mhm,
but he didn't really live up to his hype with the San Diego Padres. And I was like, well, it's a good get, but is he going to live up to it? He's been fantastic. He was probably the biggest get in the offseason, honestly. The way he's coming in there as a 1-2 punch with Judge
Judge and
and
Stanton.
Stan, and they're getting along really well. I think the Yankees will turn it back around, and I think
I think so too.
you win your division.
I think that we take a look. I mean, I go back and I look at the game today. You had Nestor Cortez out there. He struggled. It's okay. I mean, I will take a game where someone struggles, and it's like, dude, you're gonna have one of those games. It's not a big deal. Like, Garrett Cole's gonna go out there one day and get lit up by some team, right? And he'll lose
That's
and be
gonna
like,
happen.
okay, whatever. It is what it is. It's baseball. But my main thing is just routine stuff sometimes, just fundamentals. You need to if you're struggling at the plate, then find a way. Like the other day, yesterday, Juan Soto bunted the ball, scored a run. Not bunted the ball. He bunted the ball to get on base, to cause problems. Got on base. Guess what? Volpe comes up 2 batters later, bases clearing double. I'm like, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of stuff. That dude doesn't have to do that. He could easily be like the egotistical dude who's like, I'm just going to crank one out of here. Like, I'm going to be the star. He literally just bunted the ball because he realized that the defense was out of position.
Yeah.
Like, it's little things like that. So if the Yankees can get maybe another bat in here, I honestly would not bat an eye to remove LeMahieu from this team. I wouldn't bat an eye if we also got rid of Gleyber Torres. I think his time in pinstripes are done.
They're done.
He was
Interesting.
also for a long, long time. He was considered a no touchable, untouchable player,
Yeah.
but I think he's touchable. Get rid of him. Like nobody wants him here. Like he's frustrating the fan base. People are, you know, getting, just it's just crazy. Like so. In my opinion, there's a few players I know that they were wanting to get some bullpen help and possibly even a second closer type thing where you still have Holmes and you still have another guy, and then a bat. There's definitely needs to be a bat, and then I think the bat needs to either replace. Honestly, if I had a pick, I would replace DJ LeMahieu. I think Gleyber Torres is a better player than LeMahieu, but he's old, washed up. This dude cannot play anymore. Like he's a liability. If anything, he needs to come off the bench. If the only thing that he's good for right now is his defense.
Well, I'll tell you what, the Rangers didn't do any good this first 2 games back from the All Star game. We get blown out by the Baltimore Orioles 2 games. You are 2 games back currently, so that's
Yeah.
not nothing you can't overcome.
No. And honestly, we could have won that game against Baltimore to close out the first half, but it was a freak thing. And when Volpe bobbled it and 2 guys got on and the guy came up and Clay Holmes gives up a meatball down the center of the plate, basically. And the guy hits it out of the park and we lose and walk off. It's like, well, it, it was a double play. We could have been over, but it is what it is. Baseball's weird. I've, as a fan, I know that I've seen teams, struggle and then come back and then struggle and then finish it out, and then once you get in, you're in, man. Like that's the thing. You're in the playoffs, you're in the playoffs. Anything can happen at that point.
We saw it
So
last year.
Yeah.
Just
I mean,
obviously.
it's and that's happened with even the past. Like a lot of people are like, "Oh yeah, the dynasty of the past of the Yankees and all this stuff." And I'm like, "Yeah, we were in '96. We were a wild card team,
Yeah.
and that's what that's." And I actually just watched a documentary about how they in the '90s they were how bad they were. They were horrible. There were, I think it's called Bronx Zoo, and it was just like they were just not good. They were people who were doing drugs. Some of the players were just bad. I felt bad for Don Mattingly because Don Mattingly was like the only good bright spot in that entire team. Um, Buck Showalter was a third baseman. That was before he actually became the coach. It was a bad team. The '90s was one of the worst teams for New York in the Yankee era, and that was again right before that. It was right before all the crazy stuff with Jeter and all that stuff. So it's fascinating. But I look at it and I'm like, man, it could be a lot worse. We almost lost 100 games that year.
Yeah, that's bad.
One of the yeah, it was pretty bad.
Well, you got the standings pulled up here in Major League Baseball. You got the Baltimore leading your division by 2. It's going to be a close race, finishing it off. Cleveland Guardians have been a surprise, but that whole division's been absolutely terrible. Houston Astros took, they're tied right now with Seattle. They've gotten hit a little hot streak. Um, they finished on a hot streak before the All Star game. Nationally, you got the Phillies. I think they're the best team um, right now in baseball, possibly. And then the Brewers have been an interesting team. And then obviously you got the Dodgers, and the Dodgers are winning their division by 7 games right now. So, and Phillies are 7.5 over Atlanta Braves. Atlanta Braves have been disappointing this season. Um, the New York Mets obviously disappointing in third place there, but
The Braves are surprising, and honestly, I'm surprised by the Blue Jays. I thought they were going to be a lot better this year.
yeah.
They are potential sellers, by the way.
Oh
I
yeah, I
think
bet. I bet. Yeah, something's got to give there. Blue
the
Jays,
Rays are as well. A lot of people are talking about. So
the Blue Jays have been. They've got all that talent. They've got all that talent, and they've never put it together ever.
nope.
Um, Cleveland's offense they've been scoring a lot of runs, and Cleveland didn't. I don't think they expected it. But that division just made of the bad teams. I mean, they got the worst team in baseball, the Chicago White Sox. They've only won 27 games so far. Um, I and I knew this was going to come back to bite us. Houston started off really bad,
Yeah, they
and the
did.
Rangers were just messing around, and I think that's what's going to bite us in the end ultimately um, for the Rangers in getting a wild card spot. But I think Philly right now is the best baseball team, and then I think it's probably L.A. and then you're looking at Baltimore and New York. Um, but we uh we still got quite a bit of ways to go. Um, I don't know if your team should be a buyer. You're all in. You made the move for Soto.
Oh no, yeah, yeah.
You definitely buyers. The New York Yankees are never sellers. Um, so it'd be interesting to see if any. When is the deadline? What day is the deadline? Do you know exactly what day it is?
Soon.
I know it's real soon.
I think
Um,
it's only for it. I mean, it's starting. I forgot when the deadline is, but I can't off the top of my head. I know it's like really soon, and so there's like the rumors are already starting to go around, like who's going to do stuff, who's not.
July 30th. So
Yeah, so next in 10 days.
yeah. So
Um,
we're real
so we'll
close to
see.
that.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see. I just it. I if they get in, I just want them to get in, and I think if the Yankees get in, it doesn't really. At that point, I don't care what we do because I think at that point, I think we could beat a lot of the teams that are in there. Baltimore is going to be a problem,
I don't think there's a question
but
when you get in. It's what you do when you're in it. I think Yankees make it.
right.
Um,
And any of
and
these teams, I mean, we go back and look at the Dodgers last year. They were favored,
mhm.
and they didn't do jack.
Well,
And I'm like,
and last year was interesting because you get the Texas Rangers who turned it on, didn't really turn it on until halfway through the season. We turned it on. We had one of the worst bullpens in baseball. We go into the playoffs, our bullpen's lights out. Best bullpen in baseball. what in the world? We went on the road every single game. Then you look up that you got the Diamondbacks who beat the Dodgers. The Braves were really good last year. I was like, well, we're not going to beat the Dodgers or Braves if we're looking up lining up and we go against Arizona. Okay, we've got a chance to win, and we ended up winning, and that's how baseball is, and it's kind of like hockey in a sense. Just get in, and anything can happen.
Hmm.
And I guess that's in any sport, but it really should plays true to in the NHL and Major League Baseball in that way. Um, and it played out last year when the Packers demolished the Cowboys. Um,
Oh, yeah,
I had to throw a
yeah.
shot. Sorry, guys. Speaking of that, the sports cast is back, guys. We're going to kick off next week. We're going to get back into the NFL. Spring training hits up this week. Um, we're going to talk about the best and worst off seasons this off season. We're going to break down the divisions, give you our division winners, all that coming up. Our top 10 quarterback list. Got to do that before the season starts. Who's
I
on your
think
top 10?
I think we need to also bring up. Also, I don't know if it may be over by then, but maybe not. Actually, there's a lot of people holding out.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of players holding out right now.
There's a lot of players
Um,
holding out. There's a lot of players not paid. The Cowboys
there's
have
some players on
decided
the
to pay.
Cowboys. There's
They
some
paid
issues going
nobody.
on with
Oh,
CeeDee Lamb and
yeah. CeeDee Lamb,
that
Dak
drama.
Prescott,
So
Coach McCarthy, Micah Parsons. They've got so many problems in Dallas. It's not even funny. And trust me, we're going to break it all down and get into it. Um, for you guys, first time of the show, this is the show. We break down sports. We talk about the weekly updates. We got another host named Craig get us on here and talks as well. We're hoping to all be back next Saturday. We're gonna have weekly shows on Saturday, and then when football starts off, hopefully be able to do two shows a week. We like to finish off every episode with a "What's in Our Lockers" segment where we tell us a little bit what's going on in our personal lives and what we've been up to. So, Jeff, the floor is yours, buddy. What has been in your locker?
work and more work. I've been so last year I grew. So what I at my job we it's like a gardening place. They sell seeds and products and stuff like that all over the world. Um, and so I get a lot of stuff from work, free stuff and test things out, whatever. So last year, the ladies that grow all the stuff, they gave us plants. They're like, hell, you can pick which ones, and so I got a tomato plant last year, and I ended up growing it and figuring out how to do all that. And so this year, my plan was to grow another tomato plant, but then add something to it. So I got a strawberry plant, so I did that, and it's growing now, and it's pretty cool. Last year was the only thing I had ever tried that, only time I'd ever tried that before. Um, so I was definitely like, I'm gonna challenge myself again. I'm gonna do strawberry plant and see because I heard that's pretty tough to do. Um, so I did like a lot of research before I did it, and then did that. So yeah, tomato plant's huge. It's got like I don't know. There's probably gonna be like 10, 10 tomatoes on that thing here pretty soon. They've already flowered and then now they're like growing. Um, but yeah, like I've been focusing on that, which has been pretty cool. Um, work did another book cover for my wife's book. Um, and then going to I visited my mom recently. I think we're gonna go back there in a few weeks to go see her, and then my wife's gonna go and sell some books up in Colorado Springs. But yeah, just life stuff. NCAA football 25. Been playing some of that. Um, and playing a few other games. So other than that, that's pretty much been on the agenda for life wise. So Brian, what's been going on in your locker?
All right, Jeff. Well, it's been pretty mild. I've been working my job over at Frontier Waste and really liking it. And I got an announcement. I can't announce it yet, but I got an announcement coming there, so that's a good thing for me. Um, just been playing college football this weekend. We've been busy with the girls. We've I finally got over. I got sick. Okay, I got sick like a month ago. It's probably about 4 weeks ago. I was running fevers for 3 days. Um, After that, I got this bad cough. My voice went away. It's really why I haven't jumped in on done any podcast because my voice was gone. It's not exactly the same yet. I still got a cough. Now my girls are coughing. I don't know what it is. I tried a COVID test. It came back negative. So I don't know. Don't know what it is. Well, now my girls are sick. But so we've been dealing with that. We're getting ready to go back to school as school will be right around the corner. We went to school. We went shopping for their clothes today, and we got to go get their school supplies. So every parent out there knows it's a fun time of year when you got to go shop for school supplies. Um, Next this coming week, Thursday, me and my mom are going to the Morgan Wallen and Jelly Roll concert. So we're super excited for that. I love Morgan Wallen and I love Jelly Roll. She bought tickets, so we're both going on Thursday. I took off work both days because the concert's going to be. They start early, they last all night. I'm not going to be able to get up to go to work in the morning. We're going to have a good time, and I'm super stoked for it. So, but um, other than that, man, that's been about it. When I hang up here, I'm going to jump on college football and play some more of that as um,
As
most
we end the week.
most people, yeah, in the week, as most people are doing. So
Yeah, it's a lot of people on there. It's pretty
yeah,
pretty wild. So
I
that's
saw this
exciting.
joke. I saw this joke the other day about like new girlfriends with their boyfriends or whatever
Hmm.
don't understand how much they're gonna be missing their boyfriends because they're gonna be just playing the video game, playing college
Oh, yeah.
football. So it was kind of
That
a
was
funny
going on
joke.
with Helldivers as well.
Yeah, that one it took off. I haven't played it in a while. That
Yeah,
one
yeah, yeah. I'm
has
waiting
been.
for the next like big time update. I know they're going to add vehicles and stuff like that. So um, that would be crazy.
All right, guys. Well, that's the end of the episode. We're grateful for your viewership. We will kick it back in next week on Saturday. Come jump on, come jump in the chats, and let's get it rocking and rolling again. God bless, and remember,
Keep it outspoken.